In the final months of World War II, when the German front collapsed and fear ruled every corner of the crumbling Reich, thousands of German women, nurses, clerks, auxiliaries, and civilians caught in the wrong place at the wrong time found themselves rounded up by advancing Allied troops and labeled as prisoners of war. Most of them expected brutality, revenge, or humiliation, because that's what years of Nazi propaganda had taught them to believe, that the enemy would show no mercy. As they were marched into makeshift holding camps, American soldiers gave a chilling command: "Close your eyes." In that moment, the women braced themselves for the worst, some trembling, others quietly praying, all imagining horrors that had been fed to them since childhood. But what happened next completely shattered everything they thought they knew about the Americans. Instead of violence, they heard the sound of crates being opened, blankets being unfolded, and medics whispering orders. When the women were finally told to open their eyes, they discovered food rations stacked in front of them. Fresh water, medical supplies, and warm coats. Things many hadn't seen in months. The Americans weren't preparing to harm them at all. They were preparing to help them. For soldiers who had just witnessed the worst cruelty of the war, showing kindness wasn't always easy. Yet these men understood that compassion was the first step to ending the cycle of hatred. The German women were examined by female nurses, treated with respect, and, despite their fears, never touched inappropriately. Many were starving and suffering from untreated infections, frostbite or exhaustion. The Americans brought in field kitchens, served hot soup, and even shared their own rations until proper supplies arrived. Some women cried from disbelief. Others apologized repeatedly, and a few admitted that this moment was the first time they realized everything the Nazi regime had told them about Allied soldiers was a lie. One former POW later recalled that when the soldiers told them to shut their eyes, she believed her life was over. Instead, she said she opened them to a sight so humane, so gentle, I thought it must be a trick. But day after day, the pattern stayed the same. No revenge, no harassment, only structure, medical checks, and humane treatment. In one camp, American chaplains arranged safe sleeping quarters for the women and even set up a small area where mothers could care for their children. Another soldier gave his own gloves to an elderly German nurse who could barely hold her canteen from the cold. Slowly, fear faded into gratitude. These women realized they were not prisoners of hatred, but of history, caught in a war they never controlled. And the Americans who guarded them, many barely older than the prisoners themselves, chose humanity over hostility. The command to close your eyes, that once filled them with terror, became a memory of unexpected mercy, a moment they would recount for decades as proof that compassion can exist even in the darkest chapters of war. As they were eventually released or transferred to safer facilities, many German women carried with them a deep sense of shock, not from cruelty they suffered, but from the kindness they received from the very men they were told would destroy them. And long after the war ended, several of them wrote in memoirs and letters that this single moment, this powerful encounter with unexpected goodness, changed their view of the world forever.